What's up, folks? Today I'm going to show you how to put some tire sealant in your one-wheel tire and provide a couple tips for when you're out there on the road, you get a puncture, and how to best get this sealant to work for you. Let's get into it. So first things first, when you get a one-wheel, it's going to come with tire sealant inside the tire already. But if you do ride a lot, you spend a lot of time riding off-road or riding in, let's say, urban areas where there's a lot of debris in the streets that could potentially cause punctures, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a spare bottle of tire sealant so that you can constantly refill and not have to deal with a flat tire. So one-wheel tire sealant is pretty rad because it is an eco-friendly mixture, and it also comes with little rubber pieces inside that kind of help plug up the puncture when that does happen, and then utilizing this special mixture, which is formulated specifically for one-wheel tires, creating a long-lasting and tight seal. This is not something that's going to seal up very large gashes, especially if they're in your sidewall. If you do get a puncture or a cut in your tire on the sidewall, highly recommended that you go out, get a new tire, put that on your board. First thing you're gonna wanna do is grab your tire sealant. It's gonna come with this little package right here. It'll come with a tube that you'll use to put onto the valve stem and then attach that to the actual bottle. And then most importantly is this little valve core remover. Flip your board over on its side and make sure that the valve stem is up on the top end. So take your valve stem cap off, and then you're going to see the valve stem core. So this right here is a little two-prong piece that you're going to insert into the valve stem. And there's a couple ways you could do this. If you immediately start twisting the core out, it's gonna start releasing air. And if you're not regulating that pressure coming out, it's gonna be a lot of pressure at once, especially if your tire is inflated all the way. So what you could do is you could kind of pinch it a little bit on the edge of that and let air out. So once you've released all of the air from the tire, you will be able to pull the valve stem core out. Looks like so. So now your valve stem is open, ready to receive the sealant. Take this little tube right here, and the first thing you're gonna do is attach it to the valve stem. You wanna make sure that you have a good attachment onto the valve stem. Next, you're gonna take your tire sealant, you're gonna shake it up a lot. Again, I mentioned that there's little rubber bits inside of it. You wanna make sure that it's evenly spread out through the solution. Boom, mix it up. I've pre-cut this, but it will come fully capped up. You'll just wanna take a X-Acto knife or pocket knife and just slightly cut off the top of the sealant. Put the sealant bottle at a moderate angle. I'm not gonna put it upside down, otherwise you're gonna get sealant all over your tire. Put the tip into the tube and put a substantial amount in the tube. And just for safekeeping, I always like to pinch the end of the tube like so, because again, if you apply too much pressure to squeezing the tube, it could pop out and sealant goes all over the place. Squeeze into the tube and then boom. It'll kind of suck some of the excess back up. Boom, flawless. And chances are when you pull this off of the valve stem, you will get a little splashback, but I've done this plenty of times, so pretty simple. And then we're gonna put our core back in, utilizing the little tool that's provided. One thing that I would recommend doing with your annual board maintenance is checking your tire sealant. This stuff's not going to dry out inside of your tire like a lot of other tire sealants would. Sometimes you don't even know the sealant's working for you. You might have gotten some small punctures and they sealed up super quickly while you're riding and you didn't realize, but over time and over a lot of that, you will lose sealant. Definitely check it. I would recommend every 6 months. Just even putting a little bit more every so often is kind of a good way to go. So now that I've put the valve core back in the valve stem, one thing that is really cool about this valve stem core remover is that it does have threads. So theoretically, you could thread it onto your valve stem like so as your valve stem cap, and it doesn't interfere with your wheel at all. Okay, now that you've got your tire sealant inside your tire, obviously you have to pump your tire back up. Sealant's in the tire, air's in the tire, feeling good, you're going out riding. What happens when you realize there's a nail in your tire and you pull it out? What I like to tell people to do, and this is something I do often when I get punctures on my bike, is find the hole, pull the culprit out. Could be a big thorn, could be a very sharp rock, or it could be like a nail or something. You pull it out, you put your finger over the puncture, and the easiest way to do it is literally just get on your board and start riding. After you release the puncture so you're not losing air, and just start riding. That way the sealant is constantly going around the tire and there's always sealant underneath the puncture. Another example you could do is if you're chilling there, hold the puncture, boards off, spin the wheel, and you'll slowly hear the air stop. Third way that you could do it, and this is depending on your comfort, is if your board's on, and then just go ahead and free spin. And do that for literally 10 seconds, and that should be enough force to just keep spreading that sealant throughout the tire. There you have it, folks. That's how you put tire sealant in your one-wheel tire. And those are some tips to help you if you get a puncture out there and to quickly seal up your tire. So go out, get a bottle of tire sealant, inject the tire, have some fun.